Hello everyone, and welcome to the channel where we bring you the most incredible stories of real people who started with nothing and changed the world. Stories that fill you with courage, teach you valuable lessons, and help you learn English naturally. Today, I am going to tell you about a man who was told no more times than you can imagine. A man who failed his primary school exams twice. A man who failed his middle school exams 3 times. A man who failed his college entrance exams twice again. A man who applied for a job at the fast food restaurant KFC. 24 people applied. 23 were hired. He was the only one rejected. A man who applied to become a police officer. 5 people applied. 4 were accepted. He was the one rejected. A man who applied to Harvard University 10 times and was rejected every single time. That man did not just survive a lifetime of rejection. He turned that rejection into fire. He used it to build one of the biggest companies in the world. He became a billionaire, a global icon, and a symbol of never giving up. His name is Jack Ma. How did a poor English teacher from Hangzhou, China, who knew nothing about technology, start a company called Alibaba that would change the way the world does business? How did a skinny, funny-looking kid with big dreams defeat the giant eBay and build an empire? This is a story about the power of being told no. It is a story about vision, about resilience, and about the beautiful, crazy determination of the underdog. And as always, this story is a powerful way to improve your English. You will learn business vocabulary, phrases about perseverance, and the language of dreams. So, open your mind, and let us begin from the very start. Jack Ma was born as Ma Yun on September 10, 1964, in Hangzhou, a beautiful city of lakes and temples in eastern China. His family was not wealthy. His parents were traditional storytellers, performers of Ping-an, a form of musical storytelling. They were not business people. They were not connected. They were just simple, hard-working artists. Life was not easy. China was going through difficult political and economic times. The family had very little money. Young Jack grew up knowing poverty. But he also grew up with a deep, burning curiosity about the world outside. Just across the West Lake in Hangzhou, there were hotels where foreign tourists came to stay. Little Jack, skinny and not a great student, discovered that these tourists spoke a strange and fascinating language. English. He became obsessed. He wanted to learn it. But in China at that time, resources were scarce. There were no English classes for a poor kid. So, Jack did something that showed his determination from a young age. Every single morning, he would get up very early, ride his old bicycle for 40 minutes through the rain or the heat, and go to the International Hotel by the lake. He would stand outside, waiting for tourists to come out. When he saw a foreigner, he would run up to them and offer a deal. He would say, "I will give you a free tour of Hangzhou. I will show you the beautiful lake, the temples, the history. And in return, you just speak English with me." He called himself a free tour guide. And he did this for 9 years. 9 years of getting up early, riding his bike, and talking to strangers. This was the beginning of his education. Not in a classroom, but on the streets, with real people. And those conversations did more than just teach him English. They opened his mind. The foreigners told him about their countries, about technology, about business, about a world that was different from his own. He gave them a nickname, Jack. They could not pronounce his Chinese name, so he took the name Jack from them. And Jack Ma was born. But his formal education was a disaster. Jack was not a natural student. He hated math. He failed the primary school exams. He failed the middle school entrance exams 3 times. When it came time for the Gaokao, the brutally difficult Chinese college entrance exam, Jack was ready. He studied. And he failed. He scored 1 point out of 120 on the math section. 1 point. He was crushed. He did not give up. He tried again the next year. He studied harder. He took the exam again. And he failed again. His math score was terrible once more. His family and friends told him to accept reality. You are not a smart student. You will never get into college. Go find a job. But Jack had a stubborn streak. He did not want to be ordinary. He tried a 3rd time. By now, he was a young man. The pressure was immense. He studied until his brain hurt. Finally, on his 3rd attempt, his total score was just barely high enough. Not for a top university, but for a small teachers' college, the Hangzhou Teachers Institute. He had passed. He was overjoyed. He enrolled to become an English teacher. The kid who had learned English by talking to tourists was now on a path to teach it. In 1988, Jack graduated and became a lecturer at a local university. His salary was about $12 a month. $12. He was a poor English teacher. But he loved his job. He loved his students. He was known as a passionate, funny, and inspiring teacher. His students adored him. For a while, life was simple and good. But Jack still had bigger dreams. He wanted to do more. He wanted to be someone. He started to apply for other jobs. And that is when he entered a period of his life that would test every ounce of his spirit. He applied for secretarial jobs, administrative positions, anything that could give him a better future. Every interview ended the same way. Rejection. The KFC story became legendary. When the American fast food chain came to Hangzhou, 24 young people applied. All 23 others were hired. Jack was the only one not chosen. The manager told him he was too short, too skinny, and his face was not handsome enough to serve customers. He applied to be a police officer. 5 applicants. For hired. He was the one left out. He was told he did not fit the physical standards. He applied to Harvard Business School 10 times. 10 rejection letters. He later said, "I have a habit. If I fail, I try again. If I fail again, I try again. I believe that someday a big door will open for me." The big door did not open in the way he expected. It opened through a trip to the United States in 1995. Jack was sent to America as a translator for a trade delegation. The trip was a disaster in many ways. But on that trip, a friend in Seattle introduced him to something he had never seen before: the internet. At a small office, they sat him in front of a computer. "You can search for anything," his friend said. Jack was terrified. He did not want to touch the keyboard. He was afraid of breaking the expensive machine. But finally, he typed a word into the search bar. He typed beer. The results came up instantly. American beer, German beer, Japanese beer. But there was no Chinese beer. Nothing. Not a single result about China. Then he typed China. Still nothing. It was a blank page. The entire country of China, with its billions of people and thousands of years of history, did not exist on the internet. In that moment, something clicked in Jack's brain. He saw an opportunity as wide and open as an ocean. He thought, if we can connect Chinese businesses to the world, if we can build a bridge between China and the rest of the planet, we could change everything. He did not know exactly how. He did not know anything about coding, about servers, about e-commerce. He was an English teacher, not a tech genius. But he had found his mission. He returned to China full of fire. He gathered a few friends in his small apartment. He had a video camera and a big idea. He told them, "We are going to build an internet company." His friends looked at him like he was crazy. They asked, "Do you have a computer?" "No." "Do you know how to code?" "No." "Do you have any money?" "No." They told him to forget it. But Jack begged them to just listen. In 1995, he launched his first internet venture, a website called China Pages. It was a simple online directory for Chinese companies. It was a struggle. He had no funding. The technology was slow. The project failed. China Pages was swallowed by a government-backed competitor, and Jack was pushed out. He had failed again. But he had learned something priceless. He learned about the internet, about business, and about the kind of people he needed to build a great company. In early 1999, Jack Ma decided to try again. He gathered 18 people in his small apartment in Hangzhou. They were a mix of friends, students, and colleagues. Most of them had no experience in technology or commerce. Jack stood in front of them and gave a speech. He told them that they were going to create a new company. It would be a marketplace for small businesses all over the world to trade with each other. He did not have a business plan. He did not have money. But he had a vision so powerful that the 18 people, crammed into that tiny room, believed him. They pooled their savings and raised $60,000. That was the beginning of Alibaba. Jack chose the name Alibaba because it was a story known all over the world. Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. It represented a hidden treasure. And Jack believed that small businesses were the hidden treasure of the economy. He wanted to open the door for them. The early days were chaotic. The team worked out of Jack's apartment, often sleeping on the floor, eating instant noodles, and working 18-hour days. Jack was the leader, the motivator. He would stand on a table and shout, "We will be a global company. We will compete with Silicon Valley. We will be bigger than the biggest American companies." His team thought he was crazy, but his crazy energy was infectious. He was not a tech guy. He knew 0 lines of code. But he was a visionary, a dreamer, and a fighter. They launched Alibaba.com, a website where Chinese manufacturers could list their products and international buyers could find them. The response was slow at first. The dot-com bubble was about to burst, and investors were terrified. Jack flew to Silicon Valley to try to raise money. He was rejected by dozens of venture capital firms. They took one look at this skinny, funny-looking Chinese man who spoke broken English and said no. One investor later said, "He looked like a madman. We didn't take him seriously." But then, a meeting happened that would change everything. Jack was introduced to a Japanese investor named Masayoshi Son, the founder of SoftBank, one of the biggest tech investment firms in the world. Jack had 6 minutes to pitch his idea. He did not talk about numbers, profits, or technology. He talked about his vision. He talked about helping small businesses, about connecting the world, about making it easy for anyone to buy and sell across borders. After 6 minutes, Masayoshi Son stopped him and said, "I will invest. I believe in you." SoftBank invested $20 million in Alibaba. It was a turning point. The money gave Alibaba the fuel it needed to grow. And grow it did. Jack focused on building a company with a strong culture and a clear mission. He declared that their priorities were customer first, employee second, shareholder third. He believed that if you take care of your customers and your employees, the shareholders will be happy in the long run. In 2003, a giant entered the Chinese market. eBay, the most powerful e-commerce company in the world, decided to dominate China. They bought a local competitor and launched a massive marketing campaign. Everyone said Alibaba would be crushed. How could a tiny local company compete with an American giant? But Jack Ma was not afraid. He believed that eBay did not understand the Chinese market. They were copying their American model, charging sellers fees for listing products. Jack launched a new platform called Taobao, which means digging for treasure. And he made a radical decision. Taobao would be completely free for sellers. No listing fees. No transaction fees. He would not make a profit for years. His team thought he was insane. But Jack knew that if they could build a massive user base, the profit would come later. He also introduced something that eBay lacked: trust. In China at that time, people were afraid to buy from strangers online. So, Jack created Alipay, an escrow payment system. When a buyer ordered a product, Alibaba held the money. Only when the buyer received the item and confirmed they were happy did Alibaba release the money to the seller. This simple innovation solved the trust problem and unleashed the power of online shopping in China. The battle with eBay was fierce, a David versus Goliath story. eBay poured millions into advertising. Jack fought back with guerrilla tactics, using word of mouth and building a community of loyal sellers. After 2 years of struggle, eBay admitted defeat and pulled out of China. Taobao had won. Alibaba was now the undisputed king of Chinese e-commerce. The company continued to innovate. They launched Tmall for big brands. They built a massive logistics network, Cainiao, to deliver packages across the vast country. They entered cloud computing, entertainment, and finance. Alibaba grew into an unstoppable force, a digital ecosystem that touched every part of Chinese life. In September 2014, the culmination of Jack's 20 years of struggle arrived. Alibaba went public on the New York Stock Exchange in the largest initial public offering in history at that time, raising $25 billion. Jack Ma, the poor English teacher who had been rejected by KFC, stood on the podium in New York, wearing a simple suit, a huge smile on his face. He rang the opening bell. He was now worth billions. But he never lost his common touch. He often said, "I am still that same Jack. I just wear more expensive t-shirts now." Throughout his career, Jack Ma's philosophy has been simple and powerful. He believes in the power of ordinary people. He said, "Small is beautiful. Small is powerful." He believes that the internet is a tool of empowerment for the little guy. He also has a famous quote about the journey of entrepreneurship. He said, "Today is hard. Tomorrow will be worse. But the day after tomorrow will be beautiful." Most people die tomorrow evening. He meant that most people quit just before the breakthrough. The key to success is simply to not give up. He also said, "If you don't give up, you still have a chance." Giving up is the greatest failure. And never give up. Today is hard, tomorrow will be worse, but the day after tomorrow will be sunshine. He is known for his unconventional leadership. He has no technical background, but he leads with emotion, vision, and an ability to inspire. He once said, "A leader should never compare his technical skill with his employees. Your employee should have superior technical skill than you. If he doesn't, it means you have hired the wrong people." He sees himself as a motivator, a coach. In 2019, at the age of 55, Jack Ma stepped down as executive chairman of Alibaba. He announced that he wanted to return to his first love, education. The English teacher was going back to teaching. He created the Jack Ma Foundation, focusing on rural education, environmental protection, and women's leadership. He said, I want to go back to being a teacher. I learned so much from business, and I want to give back." His retirement was not an end. It was a new chapter, a full circle. The boy who learned English from tourists by the lake had grown up, conquered the business world, and now wanted to help the next generation of dreamers. Now, what can we learn from the incredible journey of Jack Ma? First, rejection is redirection. Jack Ma was rejected from KFC, from the police force, from Harvard, from dozens of venture capitalists. Each no pushed him closer to his true path. When you face rejection, whether in a job interview, a university application, or speaking English and making a mistake, do not let it define you. It is simply a sign that you are trying. Let it fuel your determination. Second, vision is more powerful than knowledge. Jack Ma knew nothing about technology. He could not code. But he had a clear, powerful vision of connecting small businesses to the world. He surrounded himself with people who had the skills he lacked. You do not need to know everything to start. You just need a direction and the willingness to learn and build a team. Third, perseverance is the ultimate superpower. Jack failed exams again and again. His first company failed. His second company faced near-death experiences. But he held on to his dream through the darkest nights. He always believed that tomorrow will be better. Learning English is a long road. Some days will feel like failure. But if you keep going, the sunshine will come. Fourth, think differently. Jack gave away Taobao for free while eBay charged fees. Everyone thought he was crazy, but he captured the market. He created Alipay to solve the trust problem. The best solutions often look foolish at first. Do not be afraid to be unconventional in your approach to life and learning. Fifth, stay humble and stay hungry. Jack Ma never forgot where he came from. Even as a billionaire, he spoke of his failures with a laugh. He wore simple clothes, cracked jokes about his looks, and remained approachable. Success should not make you arrogant. It should make you grateful. And the more you know, the more you realize how much you still have to learn. And finally, never, ever give up. This is Jack Ma's core message. The only true failure is to stop trying. As an English learner, you will have moments of frustration. But remember the boy on the bicycle, waiting for tourists in the rain, practicing English for 9 years. Remember the man rejected from KFC. He did not give up. And he changed the world. Jack Ma once said, "It doesn't matter if I failed. At least I passed the concept on to others. Even if I don't succeed, someone will succeed." He also said, "You are poor because you have no ambition. You are poor because you have no desire. You are poor because you don't take action. You are here, learning English. You have ambition. You are taking action. You are already on the path. So keep walking. Keep dreaming. And remember that the day after tomorrow can be the most beautiful day of your life if you just hold on through the hard times." Thank you for listening to this story. If it inspired you to keep chasing your dreams, no matter how many times you fall, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Share this with someone who needs a reminder to never give up. And let me know in the comments, what was the biggest rejection you ever faced and how did you overcome it? I read every comment. Until next time, keep learning, keep smiling at the rejections, and always believe that the best is yet to come. Bye for now.